Greetings, guys and gals. Welcome back here. Joseph James. It's about that time of day again. Lunchtime session in the live trade room. Let's do a little afternoon recap and your trade of the day today. Now, before we get started, I do want to remind you guys we got only a few seats left for our live trading event, Memorial Day weekend in Las Vegas. Don't forget about this, guys. We do these every quarter. This is a great chance for you guys to come out, trade side by side with a professional, meet other professional traders. We're going to have some great prizes, have a trading contest. It's going to be a great weekend. As if you need any other excuses to go to Vegas, we're going to be in Vegas Memorial Day weekend. Contact the office for more information. And also, before we start here, don't forget, if you haven't joined our free trial yet, our free trial is filled with all kinds of important information about everything I'm talking about here. All right. Let's take a look at the trades we took today here. First of all, big thanks to Marty at Traders Audio. Have been using the crude oil squawk from Traders Audio the past few days, and boy, what a great broadcast. Today, again, continue to see great results because of the assistance that I get from Marty, Jeffrey, and the rest of the team down there in the NYMEX pit watching crude oil and nat gas. So big thanks to Traders Audio. Marty and Jeffrey, thank you guys so much for working hard out there and putting together a great broadcast. So just big thanks on that. Now, 3 things I wanted to talk about today. There are lots of keys to success when it comes to being a successful long-term trader. Anybody can make money one at a time. Anybody can make money getting lucky, random day of the week. But can we make money long-term? Can we make money consistently? And can we do it without huge drawdowns? So becoming a successful trader is kind of difficult. In my opinion, I want to talk about what I think to be the 3 most important things that you'll need to learn. The first thing is we need to learn the different setups. Now, I'm going to teach you 10 different trade setups. These 10 different trade setups are setups that I've learned and mastered over a decade. Guys, there aren't many other opportunities out there without going to a 4-year college and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. Guys, for a small fraction of that, I'm going to give you 10 years of my trading experience. Guys, it's very difficult to learn as you go as a trader. Well, as long as you're okay with losing money, wasting time, and really having a difficult time. I personally didn't have the luxury of working with a mentor. When I began over 10 years ago, they didn't have live trade rooms. They didn't have webinars. We were barely getting real-time data at that time in this industry's existence. So I'm going to teach you 10 different trade setups. That's by far one of the most important things to your success, is learn the setups. Just like a basketball player would need to learn how to take a jump shot, right? Just like a piano player would want to learn how to play the piano. We need to teach you the proper setups. And today we use 2 setups, one called the breakout setup and the other one called the inside out setup. The second thing I want to tell you to do is learn proper risk management. I know. Oh, no, do you have to? Don't say that. Risk management, you mean I have to actually? I know. This is that chapter that I skipped over in Day Trading 101, right? I also skipped over candlestick patterns. I also skipped over market profile. I also skipped over trading psychology. And sure enough, as a new trader, we don't understand the value of proper risk management. Because as human beings, think about it. As human beings, we're programmed to look at the bright side. Hey, maybe the trade will work out. But let's bury our head in the sand when we try to think about managing risk. So learn the trade setups and learn risk management. When I was a new trader, I made a habit of taking a trade that had a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio. That means I'm risking $30, right, to make $10. Not my idea of a good time, because now I can take one winning trade, make $10, and then one losing trade takes all that back and some. Or even worse, I remember when I first began my trading career, I'd take 4 or 5 winning trades, and then one losing trade would wipe out all that hard work. And, in all reality, money is important, but when you think about risk management, it's all psychological, isn't it? Guys, be honest with me. How many times have you seen a pattern, you've seen a trading opportunity, but because you're scared of taking a losing trade, you shy away from that trade, and you know what's going to happen. The one trade you don't take because you're scared to death, of taking that next loss and having to explain yourself to your spouse or your next door neighbor who said, you can't be a day trader. Again, I get this. I know the words to this song, and I've heard it many times before. We're scared of taking losses. Forget about the fact that we're losing money. Every time that I'm scared of taking a loss is a time that I'm not preparing myself to take a win. So proper risk management not only is going to help me make money in the long run because I risk less and earn more, but in all reality, we're human beings. We can't take that psychological aspect out of our trading career. And because if I know that one loss is going to take back 5 winning trades, guys, I'm going to be really shaky trying to get into that next trade for good reason. So by quickly making an adjustment and making sure that our risk management is on track, we avoid not only the long-term financial pitfalls of this, but we avoid that analysis paralysis, right? That trigger shy, right? That tendency to shy away from a trade right after you take a loss. Guys, this is business. If you take a loss, put your big boy pants on and get right back into that next trade, because the next one is most likely going to be the winner. And if you ask me, when I get stopped out, doesn't that always tell me exactly what not to be doing? Absolutely. And since the price action can only move up, down, or sideways, if I get stopped out going short, well, isn't that just the best proof right in the price action that getting long is quickly to come thereafter? So this morning we took that risk management very seriously, and that actually helped me out, allowed me to make a profit today. And the last thing, this is so important. It's not enough that we cut our losses early. We've got to plan to let our winners run. What does that mean? That means that I can do a great job by using a really tight stop loss. But if I don't have the patience to let that trade really run, well, then I'm never going to be able to grab those monster winners, right? Those home run trades that are going to make up for losses. They're going to build our confidence. And boy, are they exciting when you see that 100-tick runner get filled, right? Nothing better than making $1,000 on one contract. So, 3 keys to your success. And I'm going to teach you each and every one of these keys in our live trade room and our ongoing trainings. Learn the setups. I'm going to teach you 10 of them. Learn proper risk reward management. I want to see ideally the very minimum 1 to 2, but I'm always shooting for 1 to 3 or even more. And last but not least, learn to let those trades run. Know where you're moving to. As we always say in our training sessions, markets that we trade are predictable. They move from supply to demand, from support to resistance, from highs to lows. Fake out breakouts are very common, especially when trading a market such as crude oil futures. Now remember, I'm going to teach you 10 different trade setups. In fact, if you're a member of our free trial will actually give you a rundown of all of these setups. Also included in our free trial is a private invitation to come work with me, and I'll tell you all about this information. So again, I'll teach you 10 different trade setups. We used the breakout setup this morning, got stopped out of that for a loss, almost a carbon copy of yesterday, and then an inside out setup, right, to get our win. Here's how it looked today. First things first, we talked about this yesterday. If you're trading crude oil, one of my favorites, we trade crude oil, euro, gold, Russell in our live trade room. One of my favorites is crude oil, and we know that the London trading session between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. is very, very important. If you missed yesterday's newsletter, make sure you watch yesterday's video recap, because that one had a lot more detail about it. I won't repeat it. I won't waste your time here today. Moving on, though, we knew this morning that we had the London trading range. We opened up at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Again, using the information from Marty at Traders Audio, I hear live from the pit, the locals are getting out of their position, right? Remember what happened yesterday? Big run up, very similar to what happened this morning as well. Well, yesterday evening, a lot of the locals left the pit, and they were still long. They still had active contracts in the market. And so this morning when they came in, and again, your charts won't tell you this, But when you're listening to Traders Audio broadcast from the NYMEX pit, it's very easy to hear those locals in the pit yelling, offer, 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 offer. And so while we're watching it tumble, we're not hearing anybody yelling bid, 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 right? We're not getting the buyers to come in and absorb those contracts. Now, I completely missed this short trade this morning. This was actually the first trade that I should have grabbed this morning. But I was busy doing a little bit of prep work with the members in the room today. That's part of being an educator sometimes. Sometimes you get to sacrifice your own P&L, right? Because you can see here, this is a classic case of an inside-out setup. An inside-out setup says when we find a very easy to see or a very consistent trading range, such as the previous high of day or the previous low of day, those are two of my favorites, right? The previous high of day and the previous low of day. Or in this case, we use the London highs and the London lows. You can use other opening ranges that we teach you as members in our trade room as well. So this morning we see price jumps up above the London highs and then collapses back in. I was just about 30 seconds late to the party on this. I heard out of our loudspeakers, the locals are selling. The locals are basically getting out of their positions right now, taking profit. And there wasn't any dealers to grab it. And before I could jump into it, it had already tumbled about halfway through. This is one 5-minute candle. This is just one 5-minute candle there. I know, right? It's a huge move in just 5 minutes. So because I don't want to chase after a trade, and I'm going to teach you how to avoid chasing after trades, I had to unfortunately sit on my hands and wait. Well, then we got a great clue. And even though this clue resulted in me losing some money on this trade, and again, you can see the full entire recap in your advanced course or in your free trial. So log into your advanced course, watch the whole recap, or register for the trial. You can see a copy of the recap there too. What's going to happen now is we're going to tumble all the way down to the lows of the range. Now, this is a really good clue. Let me get rid of this little box here real quick. And I'm going to show you exactly what we saw happen here. We tumble all the way to the bottom of the range. But as you can see here, we get this candlestick. Look at this 5-minute candle. Now again, I don't use 5-minute charts to trade with very often. I will use it every once in a while, but I don't use it to trade with all the time. I would prefer to use a much faster time frame. I like to use tick charts. I like to use Renko charts. But this 5-minute chart really is just to be, well, I call it the VIP. It's the very important price levels. So it keeps it really simple. We've all seen those charts that are too cluttered. There's too much on the charts. You don't even know what to do next. This is a simple 5-minute chart that will make it very easy for me to know exactly what's going on. So we see this candlestick close well above the lows, right? So basically what this candlestick tells me is price went down, tested London lows, and then went right back up. Now, normally this would be thought of as a buying signal here. But look what happens next. We get the bounce up, we get the doji candlestick, right? Maybe not considered a doji. It's not really a doji. A doji shouldn't have any body to that candle, right? But it's an indecisive candle. You can see the big wick at the top and the bottom. It's also within the test candle. So this is an indecision candle. So basically what happens is it bounces up, it trades sideways, and then look at the next candle. The next candle is a big body lower. Now, what this tells me is this tells me that as Marty in the pit is telling me that we've got the locals who are short and that there's no dealers to be found right now, what happens next is I'm getting in short, right? I'm selling the short. I'm selling the breakout. Now, we're not going to just jump into this trade short, okay? You'd be a little bit foolish to put a sell order right at the low here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sell a retracement on this using my entry trigger indicator to give me the exact entry time to get into that trade. Now again, I'm not going to go over the nitty-gritty details in this little newsletter recap on our blog, but if you're an advanced member, log in. I'll show you everything in there, obviously, and I've also added that to your free trial as well. Alrighty, so join the free trial, log right in, you'll see the same recap we have in the advanced. Okay, so first trade, I get short. It's the breakout setup. Again, good trade. And under normal conditions, this is going to go. I'm going to take my 10-tick stop. I'll take my 50-tick target. Again, having that 1 to 5. That means I don't need to be scared of taking this loss. So like we said earlier, number one, learn the setup. The setup is called the breakout setup. This is a breakout out of a well-defined trading range. Remember the second rule. Proper risk management. I risked 1/5 of my reward. So the risk on this was very small because I got my head taken off shortly thereafter. And if you're thinking to yourself, didn't we see this yesterday, Joe? Yeah, we did. We absolutely did. And that's exactly what I told everybody in the room today. I said, wow, we're probably going to have the exact carbon copy of what we had on Wednesday. And you can see that's exactly what happened as price jumped here late in the morning. Now, okay, I took my first trade. My first trade was a loss. Now I understand the breakout has failed. Whenever we have a failed breakout, now we have the second setup, which is the inside-out setup. And the inside-out setup really is very easy because by the time the inside-out setup triggers, you've already seen the price fail. And so when it fails to go lower, we know that is proof in the pudding. And just like I said earlier, I know that when I get stopped out of my trade, my stop is placed where the trade becomes invalid. We'll teach you all this proper stop placement as a student of mine in our live trade room and on our ongoing trainings. Most importantly, though, now I know I have a trade waiting for me. Now I know I need to be ready for the next position to the opposite side. We go back inside of that London session. We break to new higher highs. We now know the inside-out setup is kicked into full gear, and we take the trade with confidence. Remember, if I didn't know the setups, I wouldn't know what to look for to get back in after that loss. If I didn't learn the proper risk management, I would have taken a huge loss, or I possibly wouldn't have the confidence to get into this next trade, which ended up being a huge winning trade for us. And again, if I don't know how to let the trade run, I would have never known that when I take a trade buying at the lows, you got to be patient to let it go all the way to the highs. Now, as you can see here, once again, this is a little bit of the downside of being an educator sometimes. We began training every day at 11 o'clock, so I took my profit while we were right in the middle of training, and unfortunately just was unable to get back in and keep it going. You can see here, it just kept going. So that was it for me today. Made a small profit in the room today, definitely not as much as we normally make today. Had some sloppy price action, as many of you probably noticed. But boy, at the end of the day today, we really can't complain about being able to survive a loss. We used a simple trade setup, which we call the breakout setup. Again, want to give a big thanks to Marty at Traders Audio for doing a great job in that broadcast every day. And then we used a simple inside-out setup to buy that reversal. And then, of course, we held on to that runner, held on to that trade to get all the way back up to the highs. We used those overnight highs, London highs, and you can see here we also found a price channel that we used as an excellent clue as well. Guys, that'll wrap it up for me here today. Got to make it a short recap today here. We got a busy week here in the office with a bunch of corporate events next week with our clients on our fund. So I'll let you guys go for now. Don't forget, advanced members, the full recap is already posted in your advanced course. If you're a trial member, log into your trial for a recap there as well. And don't forget, we've got products for everybody, guys. Come out and see me in Vegas for a live in-person summit. We'll be trading live in real time. And of course, don't forget, our beginner, intermediate, and advanced courses all have specific benefits. Some of them are different prices. Some come with different resources. Check them all out. Give us a call in the office, and we'll tell you all about it. Thanks so much for watching here today. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow as a new student in our live trade room and seeing you Memorial Day weekend in Las Vegas for our Live Trader Summit. I'll see you guys next time. We'll be trading on Friday tomorrow morning starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we'll do a recap tomorrow afternoon. We'll see you then. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.